Okay, today we're just reviewing some multiplying with decimals, dividing with decimals, multiplying with fractions, because it seems to be that is the biggest issue with finding the area of triangles, is getting used to working with the decimals and fractions again. Seems many students have forgotten how to work with decimals and fractions, so we're going to do a little bit of review today and probably tomorrow as well before we move on. All right, so I'm going to go over these examples. Whenever you're multiplying decimals, the first thing I want you to do is see how many numbers are behind the decimals. So first you look at the top number, okay, and there is one number behind the decimal. So I put a 1 here, and then on this number, the bottom number, there's also one number behind the decimal. Okay, and then if we add this together, 1 plus 1, that gives us 2. Now this tells us where to put our decimal. Okay, that's why we do this step. It tells us where we put our decimal. So I'm going to leave that alone for now. I'm going to come back and do the multiplication now. The nice thing about decimals is I can pretend everything is gone now except 2 times 2, and now we're back to a much easier multiplication problem. 2 times 2 is simply 4. Okay. Now, here's the part that many students struggle with. Where do I put my decimal? Well, we did this little problem over here to decide where to put our decimal. We need to move the decimal over 2 places to the left. And you say, well, there is no decimal on the number 4, Mr. Music. Well, every whole number, 4, 5, a million, 7, can be written as a decimal 4.0 or 5.0 or a million.0, which means there's a hidden decimal right behind the 4. So, excuse me, I need to move the decimal from this hidden spot over 2 places, 1, 2. And then in this blank spot, I can put a 0 placeholder. So my answer here is now 0.04, or I can say 0.04. So this 2 told me I have to move the decimal over 2 places. Okay, let's do another example. Let's look at B. So again, first thing, how many numbers are behind the decimal? Well, here's the decimal. There's one number behind the decimal here. There's a hidden decimal here, but there's nothing behind the decimal there. So there's no digits back here. So I need to move my decimal over 1 when I get my final answer. So now I'm going to multiply just like it's 61 times 7. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 427. Now I go back to this little problem I did over here that tells me where to put the decimal. So I need to move the decimal over once to the left. So the decimal is always hiding behind the number. I move it over once to the left, and this becomes 42.7. Okay. Let's look at the next example. Now it's money, but that doesn't change anything. I still look how many numbers are behind the decimal. Here's the decimal. There's 2 numbers behind the decimal here. There's a hidden decimal back here, but there are no numbers behind it, so 0. So when I get my final answer, I'm going to move my decimal over twice to the right. So now I multiply like it's 236 times 34. So I multiply the 4 times each number. 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 3 is 12, plus the 2 is 14, carrying my 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Now I multiplied the 4 times everything, so I'm done with the 4. I kiss it goodbye. Then I hug it out. Don't forget your 0 placeholder for that 4 you kissed goodbye. Okay. Now I multiply the 3 times each number. So 3 times 6 is 18, carrying my 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 1 I carried is 10. carry that 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Add this all up. 4, 12, carrying my 1, 10, carrying my 1, 8. And then now I go back. Where do I put my decimal? I move it over 2 to the left. So it starts here. I go 1, 2. So this becomes 80.24 or 80 and 24 hundredths. Okay, let's do the last example and then I'll let you go on your own. Almost made it through. Okay, here's my decimal. There's 1 digit behind it, 1 number behind it. Here's my decimal on the bottom number, and there's 2 numbers behind it. So I need to move my decimal over 3. Now I'm going to multiply just like it's 17 times 12. I'm going to forget the decimals are even there now because I know where to put it because this told me where to put it. So now I'm just going to multiply the 2 times each number. 2 times 7 is 14, carrying my 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Now I'm done with that 2. Kiss it goodbye. But I have to have a 0 placeholder. Now I multiply the 1 times everything. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1. Add that all up. 4, 10, carrying my 1, 2. And then I have to move my decimal over 3 spots. So 1, 2, 3. So this becomes 0.204, or we could say 0.24, and it's read as 204 thousandths. Okay. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.